Hi everyone, it's Marla. Welcome back. This Astrocast is going to focus on the Aries New Moon that's happening on April 5th at 4:50 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. This is a really important new moon, and all of this clearing that we've been going through is really to give us this boost and to help us clear away a lot of the past so we can truly embrace the energy of this new moon. And this new moon is all about our sovereignty. And by sovereignty, I mean freedom from external control. If we think about our limitations, and I talked a lot about limitations in my last video with Pluto on the South Node, and Pluto and the South Node are squaring this new moon. So very much in effect with this energy. We talked about, our guilt, our shame, our fears, and how that creates limitations for us. And we're needing to clear a lot of this stuff away so that we can claim our sovereignty. It's time. We've been working towards this for many years. And the energy has been shifting enough where a lot of you are going to be able to take back your power from external controls. So Aries is the first sign of the zodiac. Aries is when we're born. I think of Aries as being the baby archetype. It's when we're manifested, when we're brought into an existence. And the role of Aries is to find out about the self. Who am I? And to fearlessly express the self. Aries is ruled by Mars, and Mars is our will. So the sign of Aries also has a lot to do with our will. But what happens is, as we grow, we have all these people putting their expectations and beliefs and limitations on us. And in order to see this better, we're going to look at the rest of the cardinal signs. Aries is the first of the cardinal signs. And indeed, we have a cardinal cross happening at this new moon. So the second rung on this cross is the North Node, which is in the sign of Cancer. And Cancer is about our home and family and our sense of security. And it is our home and our family where we first get that sense of security. Well, at least hopefully we do. Not every child, unfortunately, has a secure home. And it's our family that starts to put these limitations on us. Our family, directs us. What should we do? What shouldn't we do? And these are based on our culture, our society, the religion that we're brought up in. And so right away we start getting these limitations, these beliefs that, if I say this, if I act like that, if I dress like this, then my parents, my family are going to disapprove of me. I'm not going to get the nurturing that I need. So we start to change our behavior to conform to the desires of our parents and our family so that we can feel loved and accepted and secure. So with the North Node being in Cancer, what we've been learning is how can we find that sense of security within ourselves so that it's not dependent on external things. The third rung of that cross is Pallas Athena, who is in the sign of Libra. Now, very interesting, the day of the equinox when the sun went into Aries, the astrological new year, there was a full moon in Libra at 0 degrees of Aries. The full moon was at 0 degrees of Libra. Libra is the opposite sign of Aries. And that was helping us clear some codependency. Now we have this new moon right in the middle of Aries at 15 degrees. This is where we're going to claim our sovereignty. And then we have another full moon in Libra at 29 degrees of Libra. And it's like we're getting this second chance. It's not that common to have 2 full moons in one sign. So we're getting the second chance to make sure that we've cleared these attachments. So Libra represents other people, our partners, but not just romantic partners, but our family, our friends, our co-workers, anybody that we are partnering with. Now, that's the opposite sign of Aries. So Aries is all about me and my will. And then with Libra, we've got to find a way to diplomatically work with these people. So again, we start putting limitations on ourselves based on other people's desires and expectations. Now, ideally, we want to have a balance in relationships, but we all know that that doesn't always happen, especially when we're not in our full power, or if we're empathic, for example, or there's certain types of people, if you have a lot of Venusian energy or Neptunian energy, you tend to just want harmony. And of course, Venus is the ruler of Libra. Venus doesn't want to argue with people. Venus wants everybody to be in love and be happy and to have that balance and harmony. And so what happens is we often give up our will to please other people. And again, this is another form of codependency that stops us from being our true selves. And then we have romantic partners. After our family, our romantic partners also put a lot of, whether they mean to or not, they put that fear. It's our own fear. But we worry that if we don't live up to our partner's standards or expectations, that they're going to leave us. This all contributes to that shadow that we talked about in Pluto. If we feel guilt, if we feel shame, if we feel like we're not worthy, if we feel like we're not good enough, then we try to hide these aspects of ourselves. We dim our light, we dim our shine for other people. The fourth leg of that cross, and the last leg, is in the fourth cardinal sign, and that is Capricorn. Now this is a very intense leg because we have the South Node, Pluto and Saturn, all in a conjunction squaring the new moon. Capricorn is, it's our role in the world, how we present ourselves to the world. How do we show ourselves when we're outside of our home? Because Capricorn is the opposite of Cancer. How do we present ourselves in our career? And this is another way, right, where we put limitations on ourselves because we want people to respect us. We want people to trust us. We want to fit in. And so we tend to hide those aspects of ourselves. Capricorn is also authority figures. Saturn, the ruler of Capricorn, also represents authority figures. Saturn represents karma. Pluto is our shadow. Pluto also represents our power. Do we have power or do we lack power? And we experience those distinctions in our relationships with Pluto. And then we have the South Node, of course, which is all our past karma. So you can see how important clearing this Pluto and this Saturnian stuff, Saturn, our fears, authority figures, how authority figures have put control on us. Governments, government regulations, again, religions, our culture. So all of these different aspects of limitations are being experienced by us right now. I didn't really talk too much about Pallas being in Libra, but Pallas is an asteroid that wants to create balance as well. Pallas is the goddess of war, but she doesn't use brute force. Pallas is strategy and diplomacy. And so in this way, she's helping us, because even though we have to break free of our codependency from all these people, we don't want to just run roughshod over everybody. We still need to partner with people. We still need to have relationships, but it's finding that balance where we can be ourselves in these relationships. And Pallas Athena represents our third eye. And there's been a lot of third eye expansion, a lot of clearing with Pallas being square the nodes. And we're seeing the bigger picture. And I think that many of you are seeing how relationships have created more limits in your life than expansion. And again, we cannot turn around and then blame that on other people. What we're trying to see here is that we have allowed people, by not being in our truth and our power, to control us. So now we have to take back our power and not allow that anymore. And that's the Pluto-Saturn square, is helping us clear, even not just in this life, but because the South Node is there, we're clearing this from multiple dimensions. We also have Venus, Neptune, and Mercury still in a conjunction in Pisces. Venus and Neptune are just coming into a conjunction. And this is helping us with that. It's helping us with our sense of oneness. And they're in the sign of Pisces. Neptune's the ruler of Pisces. Venus is love, and Neptune is the higher octave of Venus. Neptune is that unconditional love. So they're coming together. They're trying to open our hearts, trying to have us feel the love, have us feel the oneness and the unity with everybody else. Because again, it's not about bullying other people. And Aries has a negative stereotype connected to it, that Aries doesn't care about other people, that Aries just does what it wants to do, or does what they want to do without thinking about other people. So it's not about playing out that old negative stereotype. That's not the true Aries. The true Aries is, I've developed my sense of courage so that I can be me, and I can go out in the world and do the things that I'm called to do. I can go out in the world and do my mission because I have the strength and courage inside of me to do that. That's the energy that we're going for. So we're doing this with love. And going back to Pallas for a minute, she's helping us create this. It's a way of looking at our relationships to create a healthier sense of balance. And Athena also helps us become our true selves as well. So that aspect is also giving us this boost of, we just got to be ourselves right now, and we have to speak our truth. This is us getting called to our mission. And I spoke about this in a video I did when Chiron went into Aries, and I talked about us getting called now to be our true selves and to come and express our purpose. So even though the energy's been intense with this clearing, it's only there to help us step into our true power. As I said, Pluto, and I didn't really talk about this in the Pluto South Node video, there's so many different aspects and pieces to all these planets and signs and houses in astrology. But yeah, Pluto is about us finding our power in a balanced way, right? Pluto can be using manipulation to control people. That's the negative aspect. The other side of the negative aspect is we don't have enough power. We give our power away. We give our power away to friends, family, government officials. We give our power away to teachers and gurus. And we're not standing in our truth, or we're not having the confidence to speak our mind. But when we find that balanced place with Pluto, then we have a healthy sense of power, and we stand up for ourselves, and we're able to speak our truth without that shame or that fear attached to it. And we do it with love. So, you know what? I think I'm just going to draw a card real quick. These are Queen of the Moon Oracle cards. Let's just draw a card and get a message about the new moon for everybody watching. Number 32. The card is called Trust, and it's Egg Moon, which is goes right along with it being springtime and it being Easter. It says, trust yourself. Develop self-trust and joy will follow. You can rely on your own capabilities. Begin to plan carefully for the future. The affirmation is, it is the beginning and I trust myself in all things. Apart from the trust we might develop spiritually with our higher power, self-trust is the basis of all trust. Self-trust is a surety that we can rely on ourselves, that our decisions are valid, that we ourselves matter. That knowledge ourselves combined with trusting ourselves leads to better, more informed decisions about all aspects of our life, including career and relationships. Self-trust is far more than a flashy show of confidence. It's deeper and farther reaching than that. It is security at the very core, no matter what. Our wisdom matters, and it's best. It allows for flow and for faith in oneself and the way you do things, moving and choosing in the world. Self-trust is the full acceptance of self. As accepting oneself becomes easier, thus self-trust will begin to shine. This gives great momentum to anything we choose to tackle or do. Our ancestors saw spring, the great thawing, as the new beginning. They would walk the marshes and plains and find newly laid eggs. More than just a symbol of fertility and new hope, the eggs meant that the worst of the cold was over and that new life really was here. The egg moon was a time of celebration and rejoicing. Well, how perfect was that card? Absolutely, this moon is about us learning to trust ourselves. And I think if you look at your life, you'll see that, even if you've been dealing with triggers and you've been dealing with a lot of 3D garbage, that it's there because you are taking back control of your life. You can't be sovereign unless you are in control of all aspects. This has definitely been a lesson for me over the past year, and really having to take responsibility for everything in my life and really begin to trust myself and trust the decisions that I need to make and follow my path. Because think about it, when we become creators of our reality, we need to depend on ourselves. If we're codependent with other people, then we're not being true to our reality. We're being true to other people's reality. So this is what we need to do as we become bigger and better manifestors and creators. We love you guys so much. If you would like a personal reading with me, my website is Twinstrology. And thanks, and I will speak to you soon.